next lesson, I want to address something that it's not so obvious, but you might find it useful in your pictures or in your images. What I want to do is to separate now the model from our background. Our background is a little bit dull and I want to make it a little bit brighter, and I'm also going to show you how to change color of your background. So again, because we have the opacity at 100%, we already did our liquify adjustments like this. I'm just gonna hit Control J or Command J, and I'm gonna call it background edit. So we have many options here, because in order to change the color of our background, as you might expect, we need to select it. So how are we going to select it? We have multiple options here. My favorite one is this one. I'm going to hit select and then use colored range, and then click on the color of my background. Increase the fuzziness, increase my range, and here I'm going with my plus, and then I'm going around my background. Notice how easy it is to select the background. Now my background is selected and I can click Control J, and now I have a beautiful selection of my background. Let's see if we selected OK. Let's click on our background, invert our selection, Control Shift I, and now our model is selected. Again, Control J on our model, and now here we have selected only our model. Now if we create a new layer below our models layer, and now what I'm gonna do is choose the paint bucket, go on my empty layer and paint it black, deactivate this filter, and now you can see this selection. As you can see, this is not always selecting it right, because we selected our background. Also, the highlights in our eyes, on our hand, it had the same color as our background, so it was not selected. Of course, you can delete these areas and bring it back from the background edit layer. I'm gonna show you a better way to do this. Let me delete this. Well, in Photoshop 2021, we have an option that's called Select Subject. And Photoshop will select our subject for us. Now we can click Control J, and our model is selected on new layer. I want to create a new blank layer under my model. Go again on my paint bucket tool, and now look at this. The highlights are here, everything is here. We don't need to worry about these bits, because we're gonna make the background brighter than it is, so this will not affect our model. But now look at this. Look how this new tool of the Photoshop is making our life easier. Let's see if we're gonna switch it up on a completely white background. Let's see what Photoshop did with our hair. It's perfect. Photoshop even selected our thin fine hairlines from this one. This is amazing. Now, what if you want to change the color of the background? Well, let's change the color. Let's pick an orange, shall we? Let's go with the soft orange. Let's say like this. I'm gonna bring this on top of my model's layer. I'm gonna paint it like this, and then what I'm gonna do, using my brush, I'm gonna pick a lighter color and paint the area behind the model. Then I'm gonna pick a brighter color and then paint it again. Then pick another brighter color, then paint it again, because I want to create a gradient here. Okay, so now I'm moving the layer behind, and now look at this. What else I can do is to hit Ctrl T and bring this layer up a little bit. The third way to select around the model is of course with the pen tool, but it's gonna take us forever and it's easier to refine what Photoshop selected for us rather than go ourselves click by click and select our model. When we are using big surfaces like this, it's better to go with the Photoshop tools, especially if you just updated the Photoshop to the latest version. And here, well, you can create a layer mask, decrease the brush size, decrease the opacity, and just remove the white background. Like I said, it's easy to refine a selection rather than just create a selection all by yourself. Now I'm going to show you one more trick if you want a more natural looking of the image and to make the model look like she was in front of our orange background. Or maybe if you want to change the color, you can use a hue and saturation adjustment layer with a clipping mask, and now you can change it like this. Or on blue. Let me show. Let's go with this blue. Decrease the saturation a little bit more. Increase the lightness. And now let's say we want to make this image look like it was already there. Let me show you one more trick. If in reality our model was sitting in front of our blue background, it will have some spillage, it will have some blue highlights around her ears, around her hair. So I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna create an adjustment layer on top of her, or on top of our model layer, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with the cyan a little bit and a little bit with our yellow. I want to match the tones of my model with the tones of my background. Invert our mask again, select our brush, make our brush a little bigger, decrease our opacity, and now we're gonna paint with white on some areas. No, I think it's too much. Just gonna increase the opacity. So we're gonna put some color highlights here, here on the neck, here in the dress, here around the arm, here. You will say, yeah, but I can't feel any difference. Yeah, well, let me show it to you. It's a very subtle difference. It will integrate your subject with your background even more. Look at this. Look at the highlights in the hair matching our background. Look at this area. Like I said, we are doing very subtle things, but when you zoom in and you check the picture, it's a perfect image, and you can say that the shot was made exactly over there with the exactly same background. Now, let me delete this. I want to keep my model selected, and what I want to do is to create a new layer, background, and I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna paint it white and decrease my saturation. All right, so now we brighten up our background, and I think I like this version very, very much. Now that we fix everything that was wrong with our image, we enhance our model's features, I think it's time to make this image pop a little more, work with our exposures on this image, and do some dodge and burning now.